It's not even like multiple axes flying out from Olaf. It's wherever you put the ward. So you can throw an axe that way and put a ward behind you, and an axe will fly that way. That's how funny it is.
It's gonna be rather hilarious to see. So
it is very.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So in that sense, we are not gonna see any Olaf and Syndra action. Yeah. So coming back into the pick and ban phase, like we were mentioning earlier, and definitely I think Nidalee will be a contested pick in this one. Whereas, you know, there are other picks that I think will be, you know, rather relevant in that sense. I think Jarvan is definitely one of them. We've seen Dinter play a lot of Jarvan. So, I mean, if he's able to get back onto a champion which he is comfortable in, then, you know, it'll be very good for TPA in the sense to execute out the strategies coming into this game.
I'm very surprised that we have not seen much or many bans against Fiddlesticks or Annie so far in the GPL. I mean, I just believe that they're the two strongest supports in the league right now. And after that, we are going into picks and bans. And straight away, we're going to see Azubu Taipei ban out Elise, who has started to become extremely popular once again in the jungle.
That's right. I think the reason why Elise is kind of coming back into action, especially in the jungle, is because, you know, a lot of teams, they are training up for the pre-season patch, which is the 3.14 patch. And in that sense, in the 3.14 patch, there's this new Trinkle item that's introduced into the game. And because of that, we do see some of the teams, they might be able to, you know, ward up their early games even more effectively in that sense, because, you know, it just gives you a free side ward as well. So you, in a sense, you are able to, you know, spot out the enemy junglers coming in. So, you know, in that sense, we do see a lot of, you know, this junglers that can navigate around the map a lot more efficiently. For example, Elise, Jarvan, and even Zac, for example. They will probably be the first few to come back into play because, you know, just because of how fast they can move around the map.
So there we go. We see the Blitzcrank ban out by Azubu Taipei. That's quite surprised. We have not seen Blitzcrank being played competitively since the long ago buffs to his overall tankiness in that bottom lane. But it's picked up once or twice by a few teams. Very surprising ban coming out from TPA though. Gonna see Gragas and Fiddlesticks taken away by Mineski. And we were saying, I was saying before that Fiddlesticks I felt is one of the strongest support champions in the game. Gragas on the other hand has becoming, he's always been popular. Since season 1, Gragas has always been in every single season World Championship. And Shen being banned out, not very surprising there by TPA.
Right, I like the bans coming in from Azubu TPA here. They are very specific on what they want to do here, because if you take a look at their bans, Elise and Blitzcrank, these two champions are excellent at setting up pickoffs. And I think in that sense, that's what they don't really want to face up against. So they might go for pick a siege composition, which has, but we do have Nidalee being banned out, but you know, similarly, they could still go for a siege or poke composition, because this composition is pretty much, you know, vulnerable to pickoffs in that sense. So, you know, taking those away from Mineski just, you know, denies them of this opportunity and this options as well.
I really like this Nidalee ban coming out from Mineski. I just think Nidalee is the most broken champion in League of Legends. I really think Nidalee is just broken right now. I think the spears just do not way too much damage. I can admit that spears should be doing a ton of damage, but they just do way too much damage to everybody that they possibly can hit. And because they scale up in terms of range, if you just throw one lucky spear from the hugest range that Nidalee can, it's going to devastate the team. And it just means that your team has a few minutes, not a few minutes, a couple of seconds where they can't do anything because somebody's taking damage. But it is banned out, so TP are going to pick up Orianna as their first pick, and Mineski hovering over Garen, which I don't think would happen.
Well, if, you know, we do see the Garen being locked in, it will be definitely quite an exciting pick for Mineski, and very interesting to see in the Garena Premier League as well. We have not seen Garen being played competitively at all in that sense, and you know.
Not really. They're gonna switch that one up though, so they're gonna they do go for the Kale, who's becoming a bit more popular. Thresh also being hovered over, which should get locked in by Mineski here. So yes, we will see that Kale and Thresh. Kale could possibly go into the jungle, but has been seen more of a mid lane champion so far, especially in the Garena Premier League. And Thresh, one of those very, very well-rounded supports. And I believe that Fiddlesticks, Thresh, and Annie are the top three supports. I would not be surprised if TPA go for an Annie pickup here, especially since they already have Orianna, who does very well at hard initiates.
That's right, and Jay has been known to play a lot of Annie support as well. You know, we have seen that in the summer season as well, when he put off, you know, the Annie support back in the past, before it, you know, kind of got popularized by, you know, Royals Taipei when he started, you know, pushing out those flashy play with the Flash Tibbers combination. And, you know, definitely he has the capabilities to, you know, just use that Annie support to the fullest potential. And I like that, you know, it's not a very not a very dangerous play per se, but if you can pull it off well, then definitely you'll be the solid hard initiation champion coming in for your team.
So Dinter here not too decisive on what he wants to pick. Apparently they're going to go for the Vayne pickup, and that
yes,
makes a bit more sense. Dinter was swapping around quite a bit there. So they're going to go with Orianna, Shyvana, very, very old school team composition that was actually first used by Team Curse in the North American League. So where they used to run Shyvana in the jungle with Orianna in the mid lane, whereby they use the traditional ball delivery system combo where they put the ball on Shyvana. Shyvana would go into the dragon form, into the middle of everybody, and then the ultimate shockwave would come out. But normally nowadays we will see Shyvana up in the top lane just because of how dominant she is in the top lane. It's known to be a Taiwan thing where a lot of these Taiwanese teams love to put Shyvana up in the top lane.
Right, it's rather surprising as well because we know for a fact that Archie can play Renekton. He has played Renekton on multiple occasions, but this time around, he has decided to go for that Shyvana pickup. I'm not too sure what the mentality behind it. It could be possibly like what you mentioned, setting that up for the ball delivery system, but Renekton, in the sense, he has more, reliable CC coming in from the Reckless Predator. He can just lock the person down into place, and having the dominance as well. Looking at the pickups coming in from Mineski now, we do have that Nautilus being locked in. What do you think about that? We haven't seen Nautilus in the longest of times already.
Haven't seen Nautilus in the longest times, yes, that is true. But Nautilus has the most crowd control abilities out of all the champions in League of Legends. So he's very, very good at locking people down, good at initiating, very, very tanky in general. Does some pretty decent damage himself. So very surprising coming out from Mineski. Have to see how they play that one out. And I want to talk a little bit about the Shyvana there because I like the Shyvana pickup compared to Renekton just because I would say right now in top lane, there's only 3 extremely viable top laners, being Jax, Renekton, and Shyvana. And Shyvana, I feel, does the best against Renekton. So I like that pickup going up instead of the Renekton because it synergizes well with Orianna. And now if Mineski go for that Renekton pickup into the top lane as their last pick, Shyvana should be able to do well unless Renekton decides to go complete Mecha Zero onto TPA and build damage on the Renekton. Then it will start to beat out Shyvana up in the top lane.
That's right. So we do have that Riven being locked in on the side of Taipei Assassin. So we might see Riven in the jungle. So I'm not too sure where this Riven pick would actually end up being at. But it's not too surprising to actually see a Riven in the jungle. We have seen that on multiple occasions in the tournament scene as well. So it is a rather good pick as well because you have that mobility where you can run around the map quite a fair bit. And right now, Snore is still deciding on what he wants to pick up for the top lane. And he might just go for the Jax, like you mentioned, pretty viable top laner. Or, he could just go for the Renekton.
So, going to be interesting to see where TPA put this Shyvana and Riven, just because Shyvana's was known as a jungler when she was released. Played very, very well in the jungle. Actually made quite famous by now, then Moscow 5, now Gambit Gaming. And they used to run her all the time just because she had very, very good clear time, was very good at dueling, and could invade incredibly well. So the only thing that Shyvana lacks in terms of being in the jungle is just that her ganks are a bit lackluster, whereby she can gank if she has the distance, but that's her only good point, unless she hits level 6 and is in dragon form. But as you said, we're probably going to see Dinter pick up Riven in the jungle, and going to see Archie up on top lane as Shyvana. And they do end up going for the Jax pickup for Mineski, and I really like Mineski's team comp because they have Jax, Twitch, and Kayle, who all do massive amounts of both burst and sustain damage. And then they have Kayle, who's going to support that with a Divine Intervention, which will keep somebody invulnerable for quite some time.
That's right, and something to add on to what you said about Mineski's team composition as well. It's pretty much orientated around the marksman for the team because what they are trying to do here is, create distance for Twitch to maneuver around and use that spray and pray to, burst everyone down in that one team fight process. And they do have that line of defense to do so as well. You do have Nautilus, extremely tanky frontliner, and then you do have Thresh as well, who is able to slow the process down with either the Flay or the bots, just keep everyone in the same area. And then at the same time, like you mentioned as well, the Divine Intervention will be able to keep Twitch alive should he be jumped on in any sense. And I think that's probably going to be the main strategy that Mineski would want to pull off in the team fight process. But looking at Azubu TPA now, what they want to do is, they do have some options available for them. They could go in for that Shyvana flank that you were talking about earlier, just going with the Dragon Form and then lock everyone down to place with the Command Shockwave, and then having the entire team follow up, probably with the Crescendo as well as that lockup coming in from Riven. So a lot of options open up for TPA, whereas for Mineski is kind of one-dimensional in that sense.
I really like Azubu TPA's lineup here compared to Mineski's lineup. Mineski's lineup does look like it has some potential, but Azubu TPA just looks very, very solid. They have two very good frontliners, being Shyvana and Riven there, and Shyvana being able to synergize very well with Orianna. Then you're going to have the two backliners, Orianna and Vayne, and Orianna synergizes very well against diving champions. It's very, very well against people who can dive onto the back line. So that helps out Vayne quite a bit because Vayne wants to stay as safe as possible. And then they're going to have Jay playing Sona, who is a very, very good mid liner, I would call, just because the Crescendo is able to not only be defensive for BB and Morning, but also can be used offensively for the team.
That's right. And I think let's focus a bit about the play styles of the teams per se. I think for Mineski, if they want to win this game, the key person to kind of lock down and just control right from the start is going to be Morning, because for Azubu TPA, they have kind of switched their play style quite a bit. Right now, the focus of the team is on Morning, because he's usually the one to kind of make the plays and create the opportunities for TPA to dive in on the opposition team. And in a sense, he has picked that champion of the caliber as well, having that Command Shockwave, lock everyone in, and then slow people down with the distance. A lot of area of effect control right there. So in a sense, if they are able to shut Morning down way early on, then they would have a much better team fighting phase when they go into the mid game. Because for Orianna, you definitely need a certain amount of items to be painful in that sense.
One thing I feel that TPA needs to do, on the other hand, though, against Mineski here is that they need to not allow Snowy to snowball on Jax, because Shyvana does quite decently against Jax early on, but it is possible for Jax to start beating out Shyvana the later the game goes and eventually be able to out-split push that Shyvana and out-damage Shyvana later on and pretty much force Shyvana to group up with the team and allow Jax to split push the later the game goes. So if they can shut down Snowy and not allow him to snowball, that will allow Archie to continue bullying that top lane with the natural dominance that Shyvana should have against Jax early on, and then that will stop Snowy from snowballing, which will kind of shut down a core component of Mineski's team comp.
So do you agree that Jax beating on the turret is probably one of the best sounds that you can hear in League of Legends?
No, I think it's Gangplank's ultimate. That is the best sound.
The cannonballs falling from the sky. Okay,
yes.
Fair enough.
It is the laugh that Gangplank gives off right away before that. That is the best sound in League of Legends.
Well, but having the lamppost just beat up on the turret, it still sounds pretty cool and pretty awesome. And speaking about sounds, we do have this very core decision coming in from Jay as well. He wants to be the one to set up the team fights for TPA here, using the Crescendo. So I think there's a lot of pressure coming into him for this one, because his, like you mentioned earlier, the Crescendo definitely a very versatile tool used for defensively or aggressively.
So we will be loading into this game very shortly, where we will see the Garena Pause League take action with the mandatory pause. Mandatory pause between these two teams will take place just so that they can set up their key bindings, and so that if people have disconnected, they can rejoin the game, because their computers apparently are not good enough for them.
Would you like to recommend a mechanic for them so that they can...
I recommend to uninstall and check everything out before they start playing again, because for some reason these professional players are disconnecting to the games, and that makes me kind of sad.
League of disconnection.
I mean, look at Jay, he's on 0% loading.
Oh gosh. It does look like we'll be stuck on the screen for a short period of time.
It's all Jay's fault.
Yeah. Well, something to just kind of talk about while we are waiting for the for the players to get into the game is, this is week number 4. So effectively, we have crossed the halfway mark of the scene.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. We paused. Well, it might be the computers, man.
Yes, that's why, but they are professional esports players, and that is your equipment, and it should be taken good care of, but we are in the game, so we will see what is going on. We're going to see the Doran's Blade start on Dinter playing Riven in the jungle, so He's not going to have that Hunter's Machete. We're actually going to see Mineski run up through this top lane. Thresh is deviating away from the team. Probably going to place down a ward for safety before joining the rest of his team in this very, very aggressive move.
That's right. So something about the aggressiveness about Mineski as well is that, you know, they do have a very solid level 1 lineup. If they are able to capitalize on that and, you know, pick off 1 or 2 early kills in the opposing jungle, then definitely they will transit into the laning phase in a more comfortable manner. So in that sense, let's see what's the decision coming in from Mineski here. But right now they are staying put at this top brush here.
They are staying put in this top brush. Pings have actually gone down onto it. You can see Archie is waiting nearby. Jay is actually probably going to try and put a ward over this wall. Does actually secure that ward, and Mineski are going to walk right on top of it right afterwards.
That's it. And we are going to see Mineski just getting spotted out by the entire lines of TPA there. They knew that 4 members, Mineski just hanging around the top area, so because of that, you know, TPA will be able to react accordingly.
Actually, they're going to walk back into this tri-brush and head back to base there. So nice warding coming out from Azubu Taipei Assassin. Completely spots out Mineski in this level 1 phase.
That's right. And not only that, you know, Taipei Assassins will be able to spot the lane setups coming in from Mineski here, because they saw that the entire team just moved back into base except for Snoy here, who's going to be staying up in the top lane to go up against Archie.
So we are going to see the more traditional lane matchups, having 1 at top, 1 in the mid lane. And why am I looking at the base? I just realized 1 at the top, 1 in the mid lane, 2 at the bottom lane, and to the junglers in the jungle. And we're actually going to see both jungles start off in the buffs that are more close to the bottom lane, just so they get that extra leash from the AD carry and support. Allows them to clear their jungle slightly faster. And we're actually probably going to see both of them run over to their... What is Noel doing? Kill the blue buff.
I think he was just waiting for it.
What is he doing?
I have no idea. Okay. And something about the level 1 starts coming in from both teams here is that I like Dinter's, you know, choice in starting the path here. So he decided to start with the red buff, and definitely he will transit over to the blue buff, probably be heading up into the top lane. Because the thing is, if you have the red and blue buff, then you'll be extremely, you know, proficient in your level 3 gank. As we do see some exchanges coming in, and TG actually taking a whole lot of damage in that one trade-off there.
On the top lane, you can already see that Archie's already shoved Snoy slightly towards his tower there.
I think you have an SH just stuck in between your teeth there.
Yes, I think so. So actually going to see Riven probably jump over this wall. Dinter, are you going to do it? Is he going to jump?
There we go.
He's going to jump with the wall. There we go.
Fancy tricks of Riven right there.
Not too sure if he can get a gank off onto Snoy here though, just because Archie's already shoved him quite deeply into this tower, and Nautilus is going to be able to clear out his jungle while this happens. He's actually moving around mid lane here.
Right.
So just walking around as we see Dinter probably wants to go in for this gank very soon. Not going to be able to do so, and he's actually going to do some counter jungling himself.
Right. So very, you know, interesting decision coming in from Dinter here, because and actually we do see the death sentence landing onto Jay here, and BB quick to respond to that, just condemning PG in the exchange, you know, knocking him right back into his tracks.
Not allowing Mineski to get the engage up, but Nautilus is going to come down. Will he get the snare? No, he grabs the wall.
What a waste.
Yes, he grabs the wall, but the death sentence comes down. He's going to flay him back. The cleanse comes out from BB straight away with the flash as well. A little bit of a waste, because I felt like if he used that cleanse earlier after the recent buff, or nerf actually, to the death sentence, it would have just broken the tether straight away. So a little bit of a waste of flash from BB, but he does stay safe from that one.
Wasteful attempt coming in from Mineski as well. Actually, we do see Noel actually coming back once more, and this time it's going to be Jay burning that flash in the exchange. And we do see Mineski still not backing up in that one, and they do burn the, you know, the flash and the ignite in the process. TG now, you know, in some trouble there, but you know, just hiding back into the brush into safety, and BB will not be able to pick up the counter kill.
BB was doing a good job though of getting some decent damage down. Noel tries to throw out that hook, not able to do much about it. BB was able to do some decent damage onto the side of Mineski there in that engage, almost picked up a kill for himself. Still being very aggressive in this bottom lane despite being at a disadvantage in terms of numbers.
That's right, and you know, I was about to say that it was a rather wasted attempt coming in from Mineski because they dedicated quite a lot of efforts in the bottom lane, but in turn they only burned out a few summoner spells. But good decision coming in from them to just capitalize on the positioning that they had and going for the kill once more, which they did. So securing the first blood for them, that's a very good just pick up for them.
Not too bad for BB though, just because he was able to shove this lane all the way to the tower, get all the last hits and the experience that he needed. Should allow him to stay fairly even with Twitch in this bottom lane. Jay, on the other hand, lost quite a bit of experience there, so he'll have some catching up to do.
Right, and we do see,
the fake gank. Look at that. There's a lot of people here for them to click the land. The fake gank coming out from C3D.
I think it's a very useful mechanic as well, just to show the intimidation, And I think it's just playing some mind games down in this bottom lane could, have some good results. But actually, we do see Dinter rushing back into this lane, and with Set going in with the death sentence. But Dinter is around the area to just force them back. So very good reaction play coming from Dinter in that perspective.
Yeah, so Dinter there was able to get the counter gank off. Nautilus tried to come in for that gank, not able to do so. So BB actually starts to get slightly ahead here in this bottom lane. Despite the kill going to Twitch, he was able to continually pressure this bot lane, and they have gotten some very, very good damage down onto this bottom tower, just because BB was allowed to stay healthy, while we saw TG having to back off.
Right, and once again, look at this, Hook City composition coming in at the bottom lane, but I think it's a bit of a pity as well. Noel hasn't been landing those dredged lines all too effectively. We have seen him land one crucial one to pick up the kill, but after that it was pretty much just intimidation factor and not really making full use of it per se.
PG just pop out here. The death sentence will miss everybody here. This tower should be going down very shortly, but we're just gonna see Mineski and TPA battle out in this tri-lane pretty much.
Tri-lane.
Coming out between the two teams. The jungler has been down here for quite some time, effectively making this a tri-lane team composition.
Right, they're not too concerned about the jungler at this point in time. They just want to quickly take out the turret as soon as they can. And on Mineski's part, it was pretty much on take out one person, but at the point of time they couldn't do much in that sense. So instead they couldn't really defend that turret. And would we see this dragon just being uncontested? Looking at the positions now, it does look like Mineski might not be in position to kind of challenge that.
We are gonna go for a 7-minute dragon. We have Noel poised nearby, gonna, I believe, try and get a steal off. He's gonna go in. He does get the steal. Noel with the great play. He's gonna flash out as well. Jay has nothing to keep him slowed down. BB will have to try and tumble and catch him and get a very nice condemn. All during this time, Archie managed to pick up a kill onto Snoy. Still gonna see Noel try to get away from this one. Dinter is actually very, very deep into the jungle here. They do get out alive though, but we saw Snoy, not Snoy, sorry. We saw Archie doing a good job of dueling out Snoy and taking him down up this top lane. Now there's going to be a contest over the blue buff. C3D gets the death sentence off. We're actually going to see Dinter go heavily onto EXO here. He will get taken down. No, he will not actually. Noel is still living as well. Dinter will be the first one to go down. Now Morning is in a lot of trouble. Is he going to come back? He does come back. EXO comes out with the divine intervention. He does go down, but it trades 1-for-1 there. As a double kill goes onto the TG, and that was a very, very strange fight coming out from Mineski. I mean, from TPA and Mineski. Very, very prolonged fight after Noel got the Dragon Steel and contested over blue buff. So TPA a bit sloppy in that fight there.
And I want to give some props to Set here. He had a beautifully timed play there to kind of keep Dinter away. As we will be heading into the replay now to see what happened up in the top lane. So Archie just dueling out with Snort in the process, but that flaming, path coming in from Archie just doing all the damage over time to pick Snort up in the top lane. So, a very interesting engage up in the top lane. And like you mentioned, in the jungle as well.
Noel here will be picking up his second rotation of that red buff. Already donated the blue buff, I believe, to somebody, or would have transferred between the players during that hectic fight over blue buff. So we can always see Archie already has that giant spell and the chain vest compared to just the ruby crystal and the double Dorans that Jax has picked up on the top lane. So Archie doing a very good job of bullying out Jax in the early phases of this game, which you really, really need to continue doing. TG here going very aggressive onto, going very defensive against Dinter.
Wow,
BB there managed to sneakily get away from that gank that was coming out from Dinter. Very, very sneakily.
Very, very sneaky attempt coming in from the red there. And, you know, very well timed as well. He knew for a fact that the entire lines of TPA was going to collapse onto him, and he just, you know, casually popping that stuff to get out of the way. And we do see Morning in some trouble now, being chased on by Noel and Exo here. And the command shockwave, you know, wanting to kind of deter them away, but TG will be the one popping the Spray and Pray to pick up the kill in that exchange. So 4-2 in terms of kill, and having a slight 600 goal lead in that sense. So, you know, Mineski having the early game goal lead in this one, and they do have to hang on to that if they want to, you know, claim victory in this matchup.
They sure do. They're doing a good job so far. I mean, TPA made some smart plays early on to try and get that bottom tower. Almost went very, very early Dragon, which got very nicely stolen away by Noel. Failed their blue buff invade, so the only good thing going for them right now, I believe, would be top lane, where Shyvana is completely out-dueling and out-laning, so to speak, Snoy up in the top lane. Mineski, on the other hand, would be doing very good in all other aspects of this game.
So a very good, you know, decision and rotations coming in from Mineski in that aspect. We do see TG actually picking up that 4 early kills, and that is just going to snowball him way further ahead than BB in that aspect. And, you know, that's the game plan for Mineski as well. You know, they want to let TG be the main guy to deal the damage and let the entire, you know, the rest of the squad of Mineski to back him down in that aspect. So, you know, they are just playing according to their plan here, so TPA has to make some quick decisions fast to stop that. And like what we are seeing now, BB and Jay quickly rotating to the mid lane to wanting to take out this mid objective. It does look like Exo might not be able to stop this process.
Don't think he will be able to stop this. Maybe after 1 or 2 more waves, it will eventually go down. He is taking a ton of poke damage just from Morning and BB alone. Shyvana doing a little bit of dirty farming up against Snoy up in this top lane here, keeping the pressure up on the top lane incredibly high. The rest of Mineski have rejoined the group in mid lane though.
But we have to look out for Noah in the exchange. And there we go, the dredge line landing onto Morning here. It was the signal for Mineski to go here and set with the flay to, you know, save Dinter's life there. I think it was a, you know, good flash coming in from him. And now TG just, you know, moving on to Dinter there. Will he go down to the poison? And actually Snoy jumping into the fray as well, joining the team fight. And Archie, you know, diving to the back lines of Mineski in the entire process. But TG now, you know, having the slow to slow him down. And there we go with the death charge over here. It's not going to be able to pick up Archie in the process, but BB will go down to TG with the X-Punch. And there we go, 1 more kill secured for him. A very nice team fight coming in from Mineski here. Brings them ahead 7-3 in terms of kill, and they will pick up the mid turret in the process as well.
That was a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of the Taipei Assassins there. And we saw only Exo going down in that entire fight. Very, very prolonged fight coming from Mineski as well. Snoy was able to get down there faster, help his team out a little bit more, despite being incredibly far behind Shyvana. We saw even at the end of that fight, both Archie and Jay were incredibly low.
Right, I think you mean 3-1 in favor of Mineski there.
Yeah, Mineski, sorry.
That's right, and you know, very well use of the team composition there, and you know, having that initiation coming from Noel with the dredge line, just catching Morning in place, and this was what we are talking about. They do have to, you know, catch up the prime target in the entire process, which is Morning, because if you keep, you know, Morning alive and kicking in the entire team fight, then he will be the one dictating the area of effect control there. So very good decision in coming in, and excellent positioning coming in from PG as well. He was just able to stand at the back, use the spray and pray to, you know, just chunk everyone down in the process. And looking at his items now, he has completed the Blade of the Ruin King, so he will be that potent rat in the sidelines of Mineski there.
Mineski has 7 kills, and TG has 7 kills.
Right, he
is doing very, very well.
He is doing extremely well in this game.
So he's pretty much the carry of the team right now. 7 kills, and only have 7 kills on the team itself. Meanwhile, side of Azubu Taipei Assassins, they have 3 kills, 2 going to Shyvana up in the top lane, and 1 going to Morning down in the mid lane.
So I can only imagine what's going through TG's mind now. It's either he's smiling cheek to cheek because he has all 7 kills, or he might be just you know, sweating in the
shivering.
Process. Yeah, shivering because he knows the importance for himself now. And we do see Snoy and Archie casually meeting up in the top lane close to the jungle area, but they are not going to go up against each other in that process.
The this bottom lane will eventually be taken down by Mineski here. See that C3D is heading back to base. Noel here jumping over to the wall a little bit, getting back to base. So that's another tower destroyed for Mineski. 3-2 in favor of Azubu Taipei Assassins in terms of towers. They were able to take down all 3 outer towers of Mineski, while their own top outer still is alive and kicking.
That's right, but in perspective, we do see Mineski with the goal lead right now, 1.8k. That's probably because of the Dragon Steel and the kill advantage that they have so far. So if they are able to just hang on to this lead, then definitely they will be the one to come up on top in that sense. Because we have seen the potential of the team fight that, that Mineski can pack. Like we saw earlier, that Dredge initiation, and having said as well to just kind of peel off for TG. Very, very powerful combination.
Snowy here going aggressive against Archie, who is 2 levels ahead of him and has help coming in. Dinter is going to come in from the side and just push the lane up for Archie a little bit instead. Surprising that Snowy is still trying to be aggressive against the Shyvana, who is doing incredibly well for TPA right now. But meanwhile, Mineski is shoving deep into this tower here as 4 members. The whole team of TPA are going to converge on them, so we should see a team fight take place very soon. They're actually going to see some dirty farming coming out from Dinter and Archie. They're separated from the team. Nice dredge line comes in from Noel here. Gets a good crowd control onto Dinter. He's going to get taken out so low. TG going invisible to try and get away from the fight as Dinter goes down to the side lane. Archie now has no Dragon's Rage to get away. Nice shockwave though does go down. The Divine Adventure goes onto the wrong person though. Goes on to Noel instead, but now BB's getting locked down. The cleanse has been used already. He'll get slain by C3D as Jay gets chased down by the rest of the team. Does get stunned up by Noel. TG's getting some good damage down. So is C3D. Actually, a nice death sentence after the kill as well. Morning will be locked down. He will go down though, and Morning will live. No, the dredge line, the Hook City coming out from Mineski is more than enough to pick up TPA, and that's 4-for-1 exchange in favor of Mineski.
Right, Mineski just showing us this, a different side to them here today, as we do see the, that team fight. They just came out way on top in that sense. The Taipei Assassins just went down 1 by 1, and very good, simultaneous just fight coming in from Mineski there. They knew who was the prime target, and they timed it well as well. They did have that one small misplay where the Divine Intervention went onto the wrong, target there, but in the sense they were able to keep themselves alive. And I have to say, once again, Seth making the plays here, having very good peels to keep his marksman alive and kicking in that sense. So we did see TG go low, but he didn't go down in the process.
So it seems like all these teams from the Philippines are so good at hooks, but we're going to see Snowy battle out with Dinter. He should be getting taken down as the ult from Dinter will come out and miss. Snowy will flash into the brush. Dark Passage is actually going to go on to Noel, who's getting caught up by his opposition team. He actually gets that one, gets the safety, but wow, Snowy managed to escape that one. Very nicely played from Mineski. And I was going to say, the Filipino teams are really, really good at their hooks. I mean, I used to always commend Astarte on his blitzcrank plays, and now, wow, Mineski with 2 hook champions on their team, really, really utilizing their effectiveness. Archie here is actually going to get taken down by no EXO. Will flash, but will Baron pick him off? One more! Yeah, Baron MVP!
There we go, the shutdown with the assist of Baron. Scumbag Baron Asher there, just, helping EXO there pick up the shutdown onto Archie there. So Mineski with the commanding lead now, 12-4 in kill count, and equalizing that turret count as well. So having that good 3.8k advantage, and they are looking to just take this game by storm.
They sure are. So Mineski are, as you said, very, very far ahead in terms of gold. 4,000 gold in their favor so far. You can have to see what Taipei Assassins decide to do.
I think for one is that they are not really, fully utilizing their command shockwave. And actually, we do see Seth by himself getting caught out a little bit. It does look like he will go down in the process. BB will be able to kind of pick that up with ease.
Will he? Are you sure about that? Oh,
yep.
Yep. Top lane though, we're going to see this tower get taken down by EXO, and TG in the meantime finally getting that tower taken down. They're finally ahead in terms of towers as well. 4-3 in favor of Mineski.
Right, and it was at a very good timing as well. So in exchange for Seth's life, they took away the top lane turret. So all worth.
Of course, C3D. #1 true support sacrifices life for tower, but TG going invisible here onto Archie and just going to hit him a few times. Say hello. I'm a rat. he looks like he's wearing a hat that you're wearing. Let's have a look. TG, are you wearing that hat? Yeah, I see. He's wearing your hat. So you stole the hat from the rat.
No, if he's wearing it, how can I steal that away from him?
But why would you steal the hat?
No, he's wearing your hat now.
Oh, he's wearing my hat. So this is my hat, the sombrero. There we go. This is the hat I want.
You want the...
Senor, can I have this hat?
Well, you have to ask Noi, man.
Okay, I will ask Noi later on, see if he gives it to me. Let's see, Red Buff donated over to BB here. We saw Dragon was taken away by Mineski early on. They've gotten all 2 Dragons of this game so far, one being a steal very, very early on against TPA.
Yep.
Got one for themselves after the respawn, and now Dragon just respawned. They're going to pick it up once again. It looks like a C3D going back to the place where he died to put a ward down, putting a ward down once again. Having a look at items very quickly, we see that Trinity Force has been built up by Jack, so he's starting to get to the point where he wants to be. While Shyvana has gone for the Sunfire Cape, he's getting a little bit of different items in between. Orianna going for that Athenes, which is quite commonly seen the Nationals 2 being built up by Kale, and TG going for a steal, which he does not get.
That's right. So this time around, we do see Mineski pressing on the advantage, and the death sentence landing onto Jay there. It does look like he will go down the process. Set will be the one to pick him up.
He will die though.
Yep,
no, he won't. Yes, he will. No, he won't.
Yes, he will. He will go down to the command shockwave, but hey, you know, it's support for support, and at the same time, you kind of just, you know, take away the command shockwave from warning there, so you will be able to buy some time for your teammates. Actually, we do see PG now going all aggressive onto BB here. He has to cleanse out of the way to, you know, stay alive in that one. His punch taking a huge load of damage out of TPA's lines here.
Shyvana, in the meantime, was able to take down that top tower, evening up the tower advantage to 4-4, but they might be able to get this inhibitor turret here. Mineski will pick that one up. Very, very unfortunate for C3D there, though, because he would have been able to get away from that turret because of the heal that came out from Kale, but decided to stick around for one more tower hit just for fun.
Oh, there we go. The most beautiful sound. Oh, we just missed that.
It's not.
Yeah,
no.
it is, you know, just Jax beating on the turret. It's like music to my ears.
I think all the sounds that Surprise Party Fiddlesticks though produces are the best sounds in the game.
Like throwing that balloon, that floating balloon.
Doggy balloon animal, the best balloon animal in the game.
How about the sound he makes when he just kind of fears someone away, just blowing that?
Imagine the sound that's going in the head of the person that's getting feared. It must be something very terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 seconds of I can't do anything.
I think that's why they call it the Terrifier, dude.
C3D thinks he's a carry, gonna farm up the top lane. Look at that. Look at those last hitting mechanics coming out from C3D. Very, very, very well done. Jay here, he's only level 8 compared to C3D who's level 10, so he's having a little bit of a rough game on Sona, and Sona is one of those supports where if you get behind early on, it's very, very hard to catch up in terms of experience just because of how squishy you are and how hard it is to catch up in general at that bot lane when you get very, very huge disadvantage that Jay got early on.
So I totally agree with that in a sense.
He's gonna get a hook off onto Jay, but now we're gonna see Archie just batter him down. The box comes out. C3D really thinks he's a carrier. Look, another hook coming out. Stops the dragon right in the middle of transforming. And now Archie in the middle of Mineski wants to get away, but he just can't. And C3D really, really trying to be a carry this game, picks up that kill.
Wow, what a timely dredge line coming in from Noel there. Stopping the dragon's descent, man. I mean, how else could you say? That was just the perfect timed one in that sense. And in that sense, the front liner for TPA is missing in this equation. And there we go. The mandatory pause once again coming in for this one.
Fix, no issues, going back into the game. As Mineski should be pushing into this inhibitor. Mineski playing very, very well in this game against Azubu Taipei Assassins. Here goes a hook coming out, but will be dodged as Morning decides to dance.
Right, so Mineski now taking out the mid lane turret, so opening up some more pathways for them to victory, as we do see now 14-6 in terms of kill count, and having a good close to 6,000 goal lead as well, as we do see once again Dinta being caught out with the dredge line, and now BB getting targeted there with the, you know, depth charge, and now BB in a war of hurt as Noi easily secures that kill for himself.
Mineski picking up another kill there onto BB. Vayne getting taken down. Ping coming out from Mineski to go up to this top lane where they have very, very nice creep wave that is pushing, or minion wave that is pushing into the second last outer turret. And they were able to pick up the inhibitor early on, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there we go.
So you pause again. I can do it. There we go. He's gone.
Are you a magician?
I'm a magician. I need the hat. Give it back. It is my hat.
Your hat is sitting on Snoy now.
See,
I thought you like this.
TG has one hat. Oh, we're back in the game. Okay, let's go. So we're going to see Mineski here, they were going to push up this top lane early on. EXO has joined back into the team. We saw TG just go invisible there for a second. They do have a very, very nice minion wave pushing into this tower, and Orianna is not available yet. Archie gets jumped on by Snowy though. He's going to get stunned up, gets the dredge line onto him as well, does not have the Dragon Force to jump away from this one. They're just going to come in and get a stun back onto Noel. Doesn't look like Mineski wants to fight under this tower though, and will back away, pick it up for themselves.
Right, so they will be happy with that, and they will just move away from this top lane in the meanwhile. So will they choose to go for the Baron here?
No, we saw a team yesterday. I'm not naming any names, but
there we go.
We saw this team yesterday that decided to throw a game at Baron twice. I don't think anybody else will do the same thing.
Isn't that your friendly advice to most of the teams out there that Baron just trolls?
My friendly advice, if I can do it here, is this is what Baron should look like at all points of the game. Oh no, you can still see it. Never mind. Just because
we do see Baron just
hit by it.
Well, for some reason,
this is what Baron should look like to every single team for, I think, 50 minutes of the game. It should just be non-existent, and nobody should ever touch Baron because it just leads to teams throwing the games away all the time. It's very, very rare that you see a comeback play coming from the team that starts the Baron.
But if you do have, full vision control in that area, then definitely, I would say it's a very good objective for you to pick up because that Baron buff, and it will receive some changes in the 3.14 patch as well. But I mean, nevertheless, still a very powerful pickup if you can, say so myself. And something about it as well is that you kind of deny that away from the opposing team, which is very important.
C3D is trying to de-ward some of the wards placed around this Baron buff, and Mineski being so far ahead, they can start this Baron dance. TPA still have the chance to capitalize on the fact that they did initiate onto Baron buff. They're actually going to take away this blue buff, probably donate it over to EXO. No, Noel will actually take that one. Let's come back, Noel.
I think he needs to just put on more dredge lines for them, and TPA now, I think they sense a little something here. They probably think that Mineski will be doing that Baron, so they are heading towards the area. But very good vision control coming in from Mineski, and Set in that sense, just placing wards in every single pathway. And I'm gonna miss this, action when it comes to 3.14, because there's gonna be a limitation on wards, and because of that, we might not see the entire map being lit up as it is now.
I like it because that forces everybody to buy a ward. I like that change because now everybody has to buy wards, and meanwhile 150 gold is floating over everybody's heads just because tower was destroyed by the minions there. Mineski actually going to start on this Baron buff. No retaliation at all from Azubu TPA.
But they are not in the position to do so, and in that sense they have to give it up away to Mineski. So very, very good decision coming in from them. So taking that all-powerful purple buff for their own advantages. So it does look like at this point of time they would want to siege down the inner turrets and the inhibitor turrets to secure the next objective, because they already have those super minions pushing up in the mid lane. And they do look like they want to close the game relatively soon.
I think C3D is angry at his team because he's been split pushing and farming for 40% of this game as the support. I mean, he has 34 minion kills and an Aegis of the Legion. Still a few kills as well. TG takes some damage, gets heals up straight away by kill there. TPA, I feel that if they want to go for the engage, they need to go now. They can't go any later, or this tower will be taken down. It'll be too late for them to do anything. They have to go by the next wave, but they get a nice stun onto EXO. He's going to get bursted down. TG now in a lot of trouble. He'll get destroyed as well, I feel, if one more attack comes onto him. BB does get knocked up and stunned, but uses the cleanse to get away from all that crowd. Joe gets a double kill. Now Noel going to flash over this wall, get to safety, but that is a 3-0 exchange coming off by a good condemn from BB.
That's right, and it looks like the Taipei Assassins have taken your advice, and there we go with the replay on this one. It does look like Mineski was entirely set up, as we do see Set actually burning that sentence onto Dinter there, but BB with the beautiful condemn just sets things up to start, and EXO, the first one to get caught out of position, and a very good crescendo, just catching TG way out of position in that sense, and BB securing the shutdown goal onto himself.
I really felt like that was a actually really bad positioning coming out from Mineski there, just because we had Kale standing to one side of the tower very close to a wall. We had TG close by as well, especially with a team that has Shyvana and Orianna, whereby they can engage on you at any point of time. BB's condemn though was very nice into the wall, and it was right as the last minion died, so I felt like Mineski should have played a bit more safe there because they did not need to force the tower down. They could have easily waited for the next few minion waves, waited for the minion waves on the other lanes to push in, then go for the tower. They got it incredibly low as well.
Right, it was a split-second decision from Jay to go in with the crescendo as well. As he saw, TG just wide exposed to the that possible stun coming in from that. As we do see TPA now grouping up in the brush, would they go for a what we call the cheese strategy? Catching the
Fnatic brush. This is the Fnatic brush right now. We're gonna see 3 members here. No, they're gonna take Raves instead.
Right, so we do see Taipei Assassin stopping that push up in the top lane, but do not get mistaken. This Mineski is still in the commanding lead in this one.
They have about 7,000 gold. A little bit less than 7,000 gold in their advantage right now. Have Baron buff on a few members of their team after those 3 or 2 just got taken out in the last fight. So not everybody has it. They have a free inhibitor to take if they choose to do so. It will be able to force a fight as well. You see Azubu Taipei trying to defend both this mid lane and top lane from the pushes that will be coming up from Mineski. EXO does manage to pick up that tower, so now there's 2 inhibitors open for taking by Mineski. They actually have most of the TPA split up right now. They're going to batter down on this inhibitor.
Right, and Mineski now, they do have to be careful where they choose their team fights because, so far up to this point, they only have made 1 major mistake up in the top lane. But other than that, they're quite, on point when it comes to those pickoffs. So they do have to maintain that form to kind of just finish up the game here.
This inhibitor is going so low. Actually trying to get some damage down onto Noel, not able to do so. EXO goes in deep to get some damage down. The inhibitor will go down. Dinter now incredibly low. Snowy should be able to lock him up. Dinter might get taken down here. Lives with a little bit of health. The flash comes out and he will get taken down. Very poor play, I felt, coming in from Dinter. I mean, Snowy was just battering down on him and it was doing nothing to retaliate. So that will be 2 free inhibitors for Mineski. They don't even have 5 members up and available to retaliate to this push.
But once again, and this time around, Mineski just marching down to the bottom lane, and they are kind of split up here, but TPA not able to kind of respond to that immediately.
I feel like if TPA wanted to stop that push there, they needed to do something right there and then before the inhibitors go down, because once that inhibitor goes down, it's a bit too late because there's nothing worth fighting for anymore. And for Dinter to just get picked off so easily like that was a huge misplay coming in from them.
That's right, and Mineski now looking to march down the final inhibitor, just blocking their way to victory, which is the bottom one here. So this might be another, this might be the deciding team fight for them in this sense. So whoever that comes up on top of this one will definitely, secure a major objective one. So Taipei Assassins, this might be their last fighting chance in this game.
It sure might be. And if they want to do something, TPA need to do it right as this wave hits the tower, right before EXO gets there as well, but decide not to do too much about it. TPA need to not allow Mineski to build up time, let their creep waves push, let the super minions push into the base. They need to do something now or they will be capped. They will be punished for it. Hook goes on to Dinter though. He does not decide to follow up with the second proc of the Death Sentence to chase onto Dinter there. Instead, we'll just clear out these wards, wait for another Death Sentence to come around. Mineski are playing this one out very nicely, not going anywhere close to this tower, just waiting for the side lanes to push into the base of TPA before capitalizing on any plays.
A very good point there. They are not in a rush in a sense, they just need to wait for the other lanes the super minions to do the job for them, to apply pressure. And there we go, a very good shockwave followed up with the crescendo just to lock up EXO and TG in the process. So we do see TG melting immediately, and now Archie with the double kill here. It does look like he will secure set in the process as well, and now BB taking up another kill for himself. The only member left alive on Mineski is Snowy.
It's exactly what TPA needed to do. They needed to initiate right when it's unexpected coming in against Mineski. Mineski tried to go for that tower. TG and EXO got a little bit too close, so we're going to see this fight again. We saw the shockwave came out very early. EXO got taken down solo. TG was already dead at this point. And now we're going to see Jay gets jumped on by Snowy, puts the exhaust out. EXO will get taken down by RG here as Noel gets condemned into the wall. C3D, being the support, has nothing that he can do against them and will get taken down as well as Snowy escapes. Now TPA are going to take a tower for themselves.
Right, so we do see in the exchange, Archie with a very good hit point. He has this tanky, built for himself, but at the same time having that some fire cape as well as that burnout, synergizing very well, like you said earlier. So enough damage to take out the lines of Mineski there. So I wouldn't say, I would say this is the biggest turnaround, but it does look like TPA has kind of managed to stop that bleeding in that sense. So it's going to be up to Mineski to kind of group up themselves. Once again, find the picks that they do need and, just march down for victory because they still have that inhibitor advantage.
I feel that Mineski need to stop putting TG and EXO in such exposed positions. I mean, TG and EXO keep getting picked off before fights even start, and those two are the members of the team that need to be dealing this consistent damage. Snoy can't even get into the opposition because Jax needs people to focus other people. He needs to not be the main center of attention, or if he is, he needs to have two other people providing extra damage so that if he doesn't go down in vain. But we see TG and EXO really cannot do anything after that because he just becomes the main center of attention.
Right, as we speak, Mineski picking up that Baron Nashor buff once again, so away from the map. So is this going to be the deciding factor that they need? But the last time we saw that they had the Baron buff, they kind of just, you know, had a little mishap up in the top lane. So if TPA, once again, if they are able to pull off what they did earlier, then I would say they will be well on the track to kind of slowly come back into this one. Yes. So 35 minutes in, but there's still an advantage when it comes to turret objectives.
So we have to see Mineski try out this push once again. They do have Baron buff now, so a little bit of a better inhibitors will be coming out very, very shortly, but Mineski really needs to stop letting TG and EXO be so exposed in these fights. I mean, TG and EXO, they should have no problem staying in the backlines for a good 10 seconds after the fight breaks out, and then come in afterwards when most of the crowd control has been used. Tower down, they have inhibitors that will come out that will be free to take. Noel actually getting caught off, and the rest of the team will use that dredge line to jump over to a wall as this huge minion wave pushes into the base of Taipei. This is the time when Mineski need to capitalize, and they need to take this inhibitor. EXO and TG are beating down on it. Archie here wants to go aggressive. There goes the ball from Oriana as BB gets a nice condemn there, and Archie gets hooked up by Thresh. He's going to get shut down for a little bit as damage goes under, but Noel's getting destroyed by BB as a nice shockwave hits TG once again. He's getting taken out solo. The Guardian Angel has not been popped just yet. Uses his ultimate to spray and pray to get some good damage out as BB goes on a rampage and takes down Thresh. You can see Snoy jump in the back line. He's going to take down Morning for sure as TG still hasn't popped his Guardian's Angel. He has not been taken down yet by Azubu Taipei, and Jade tries to run away but is not able to do so as the double kill will go to Mineski, and they pick up a very, very clean, or almost very clean team fight against Azubu Taipei, and this should be, they should be able to end the game here.
That's right, we do see Snoy jumping onto BB once again, and he is now locked down and immediately melted down in that sense. So this is going to be Mineski's game here, you know. Mineski today proving their worth why they were one of the biggest teams going into the Southeast Asia Season 3 qualifiers, and they pick up the win over the Assassins here tonight.
So Mineski, they played very, very well this game, I feel. I mean, Azubu Taipei, they made some nice plays early on, especially the first play they made, going for that tower very, very early. Going for a very early dragon as well, and that started to snowball into Mineski's favor once they were able to steal that dragon at 7 minutes into the game, and then also successfully defend the invade onto the 720 respawn of their blue buff and get a few kills off of that as well. And then from there, Azubu Taipei just didn't play as well as they should have. It started to fall off, and they really only started making the plays, including the last team fight, I believe, where they looked like they were winning at first. They only really started making the plays they needed to come back into the game once it was a little bit too late. Once the two inhibitors were down, they were left to defend that final turret was when they tried to make the correct plays against Mineski, but Mineski were just too far ahead at that time.
That's right, and I think it's also the fact that they didn't make use of that ball delivery system to the maximum potential. And I mean, like you mentioned, there were a few times where they make very good decisions and very good plays, but by then, you know, Mineski was just way too far ahead for them to catch up.